Ladies and gentlemen, we will be looking at 3 writings today from students. These are sample writings, and these are writings after they took our feedback. So we'll see what happens after feedback. Do things improve, stay the same, or maybe even get worse? We're looking at task 1 today, and we can start with this one right here. This is about office meetings. Let's analyze this, let's dissect this, and point out the good things and the bad things right here. We start with Dear Mr. Smith, missing comma. You need a comma. It's something that is very basic, but if you're messing up the salutations, you lose a lot of marks. Fortunately, at the end, they're sincerely, and the full name was there. I replaced that with just full name for privacy, but the ending was good. The starting salutation, not so good. Let's look at the first sentence. My interest in accomplish, grammar mistake. The company goals are always my priority, and I am a passionate leader with the mission to support the integrity of our team. If you have been following this channel, you should tell me right now, what is the mistake right here? The mistake is the student is missing the purpose. Why are we writing this letter in the first place? That is what needs to be mentioned in the first sentence, in the first paragraph of formal emails. That is missing here. I am aware of this person's interest, but I don't know why this writing is being done. That's a major mistake. Let's go to our next paragraph, which starts with but I'm afraid it is crucial to recreate. This looks like a continuation of the initial paragraph, but this paragraph should be completely different. Each paragraph that is here that you will make in your CELPIP writing should have its own content, and it should not be dependent on the previous paragraph. Of course, you can use words like nevertheless, considering, and so on to build a flow, to show coherence between paragraphs, but you cannot have a dependent clause, something that looks incomplete without reading an initial paragraph. So that's a mistake that I noticed right away, but I'm afraid it is crucial to recreate a structure and increase the performance of our weekly meetings. What do you mean by increase the performance? You improve the performance, not increase it. It's not numeric, because I can perceive tension and poor participation from my colleagues and my pupils. Very long sentence. It's too many points here. That's a mistake as well. Let's keep going. I am not satisfied with mainly digital presentations and debating ideas. Okay, so this person mentions the problems that he is or she is having, and then again the next paragraph starts with I would like. Do you see what's happening there? There's I am not this, and I would like to suggest this. There's no pause in tone. It's a continuous structure, and there's no change in tone from one paragraph to another. I feel like all of this could have been done in one paragraph just based on the tone it has. If you were going from problems to suggestions, you would say something like, on the other hand, we could instead do this. On the other hand, a possible solution would be this. Okay, so if you give me that, then I know that now you're moving on to another point. That would be better in terms of coherence and also in terms of the range. I mean, it's all eyes. It's all active voice. Try to change it up with passive voice or simply use something other than I, because it's too many eyes that we're seeing, and that shows a lack of range. Now, I'd like to suggest the option of incorporating to the weekly sessions bunch of grammar mistakes all around, including this one right here, and interactive time during our meetings, since we are a construction company. And then there's no full stop. I mean, here you should really have a full stop because I am already fully loaded with the thoughts. I need a break in my thinking. When you mention too many things, you need a break, you need a period somewhere, which is missing here. I encourage the idea of should be making an appearance in the field during work duties. Giving the opportunity to share with the office team what is realistically happening in our job site. Okay, so I think these 2 sentences should have been in one sentence, because it's like the person is saying, I encourage the idea of making an appearance in the field during our work duties, and this will give an opportunity, or you can say comma, giving the opportunity to share with the office team. And yeah, word order could be a little better, but that could be one thought. and could have been one sentence, because this sentence already, like if this were a new sentence, which you technically should have a full stop here, then this new sentence would have been very short, so you should combine it. Ideally, you should be making 2 sentences per body paragraph. That is the best approach. That's what we tell students to do. And we'll see in the other samples if the other students are following that. Now, the last paragraph here is to be managed as the most appropriate way we can. I think the person wanted to say to manage this to the best of our abilities. So a bunch of grammar mistakes. And then it should not be a comma. There should be a continuous clause because our idea has not finished. So to manage this to the best of our abilities, making a corporative vote would be corporate vote would be a good solution for this matter. Never use basic words like good, bad, sad. Use advanced words would be a solid solution, would be better. If you accept my proposal, I will organize this democratic process to ensure most of the office group will accept the upgrades to the meeting. So this looks more like a conclusion, which should have its own paragraph. In fact, the conclusion should also say something about the future, something like, please let me know if you need any more information from my side, or let's have a short meeting or a brief call discussing this in more detail. That's how the conclusion wraps up the email. Here, it's kind of wrapping up the email, but it's not fully talking about the future. Plus, it's also not in the next paragraph. And if this were in the next paragraph, the body 3 would just have been this, which would be very short and not in balance with the rest of the bodies. So a lot of mistakes here, and this for me scores only CLB 5. Lots of mistakes, lots of structure, coherence, structure issues. This was not a good attempt, and the student needs simply more feedback here, plus a lot of work on English grammar. English grammar is something that takes time. It does not improve after a few corrections. Here, the student needs more time, practice, and also understanding of the structure. You have to have a good flow. You can't just have thoughts wherever you want them. You have to structure them nicely, put periods nicely, and yeah, lots of work needed there. Let's check out this next sample and see if this is any better. I'm writing to express my dissatisfaction with the accommodation at 18 Bayview Street. Very good. Here, the purpose is clear. The salutation has a comma. The ending is best regards and full name, which is okay, but for the formal emails, it's better to say sincerely. Reserve best regards for informal emails. But so far so good. In fact, I can also see a conclusion. Thank you for addressing this matter. Your prompt response is highly appreciated. Nice, it is a separate paragraph for the ending. You do have a grammar mistake here. You should have a semicolon so that you separate the your prompt in a separate clause, because you can't put a comma because it's a different clause entirely. Now, in the middle, I can see 3 body paragraphs. Right away, visually, I see a problem. The problem is that body 2 is huge, which means I'm sure that body 1 and body 3 are not getting their respective attention and words. But when you start to dissect it, it's a different story. So here, body 1 says, due to the holiday, I booked my mini stay with the family in the Blue Mountain area through booking.com website. It should be through the booking.com website. The stay was from this to this. Now the question here, guys, was when and where did you book the accommodation? So if that kind of question is being answered, it's not much details. It's very few things like when and where. Simple. So that is actually fine. You don't need too many words in this body. Let's look at body 2. Good flow. Look at the flow here. Before addressing the issue, even here, due to the holiday, and even here, undoubtedly. Flow, coherence, the student is well aware compared to the previous student. So this student is doing a better job with the flow. Great. Now, I must admit that the room is located in a very convenient area where most of the local restaurants and attractions are within distance. Okay, so this is a positive thing. Nevertheless, the house is very low maintained, especially in front. So this is problem number 1. This is problem number 2. This is problem number 3. And because of that, there was problem number 4. So there are too many points here. This whole paragraph, the bullet here, was asking you to explain the problems, and you should just have 2 of them. That's it. just 2 problems, and you don't even need a positive sentence like, I must admit it was in a very convenient area. You can do that, but why do that? It's wasting time and wasting words. Instead, you should simply have 2 sentences, one with problem number 1 and one with problem number 2. Quality over quantity. Now, because the student did all of this, there is less range here. It's very repetitive, the complaining nature of this, and it also has not given the student enough words for body 3. So we are seeing a problem with body 3. It says, undoubtedly, I would like to receive a partial refund or some sort of credit for the next visit due to the above issues. With the price that it was posted, a little grammar issue there, I'd highly expect a better equipped house. Grammar issue there too. I would in the future, so you should, by the way, never have contractions in CELPIP formal emails. And here I would say I would be expecting. Instead, I would highly expect a better tone grammatically. But this, you can see, is rushed. You did not have enough time or words because you just said too much in body 2. So again, this was gonna be a good attempt. The student had a good idea about coherence, structuring, answered the question nicely, answered the intro properly with the purpose, but body 2 really messed things up, leading to this not scoring more than CLB 7. Finally, we're going to look at our last writing, and maybe it's the best one, maybe it's the worst one. A really bad thing, though, that's happening right now is good salutation at the start, but at the end, you just have Bob. You don't have the full name. You're supposed to have the full name, and that's missing. Again, a major salutation problem. So you saw 2 out of the 3 samples I've showed you. Both students had salutation problems, losing marks for no reason. You should not be losing marks for this. These are easy things to do. You just have to be more aware of them. Now we start with the purpose, which is good. So you're giving me the purpose here. But then the second sentence here is irrelevant. Upon seeing the sales revenue of the last quarter, I'm compelled to bring changes to the structure of meetings. You should say this either within the first sentence or later on in the bodies, but don't waste your words saying 2 sentences in the intro. Remember also, it's the intro. It's supposed to be small, much smaller compared to bodies. But you see body 3, it's smaller than the intro. That academically does not make sense. So just have 1 sentence in the intro, not more. Now, body 1, I'll begin by reflecting on last Friday's meeting. Good. It's not, I'm not going to say it's an extra sentence because it's a very short sentence. So if you're using that to build flow, it's all good. I can't help but be despondent. Very good phrasing about the choice of presenters at the meeting. Since we're a client aching department, I think the student meant something else there. Client aching? Not sure what that means. Aching is a problem, so that I think you probably mean a customer-oriented, customer service-oriented department maybe. The introduction to our meeting should be done by client advisors who have direct reports from clients. Okay, so this is 1 point expressed very nicely within 3 sentences, and the first sentence doesn't really count. It is a very short sentence. It's helping the student build a flow, so it's nicely done. And the purpose of this paragraph is very clear. It's 1 point that we are basically customer service oriented, and we should be having our meetings by client advisors who have direct reports. Perfect. I got the idea, and it's not too many words, not too few words. Moving on to the next one. Coherently, our advisor should lead the meeting, after which the meeting should collaborate on ideas for better engagement with clients. 1 sentence, got you. As a consequence, this will lead to excellent sales revenue. 2 sentences. Once again, the structure is good, but I would have liked more here in the second sentence. How? I'm missing the how. You have given me a good idea here, so I'm not gonna totally say that there's not enough explanation, but you still have words, you still have room here to explain more. Whenever you do, don't leave it out. Always try to complete your explanation. I feel more could have been said here. Finally, look at this very nice phrasing, to therapy the situation. Going from the problems to the solution and using this kind of flow is perfect. To therapy the situation, I believe we should do an office vote. I think he meant do an office vote on this idea. Essentially, this will tell us how everyone feels moving forward, or how everybody feels about moving forward with this decision. And it could have more details there too. Again, the word limit looks fine. You shouldn't be really so conservative here. This, for example, if you're talking about the office vote, you could also add something here that to make it, all right, so I'm going to say, to therapy the situation, I believe we should hold an office vote and make it anonymous so people can truly express themselves. Next sentence, essentially, this will tell us how everybody feels. There you go. So a little bit more description to just seal my marks for task response would be really helpful. Let's see our conclusion. I would also like to hear what you think about the situation, your cooperation and feedback. All right, so you don't need to say this because the conclusion is huge. And maybe that's why the student is trying to save words up here, because they know that the conclusion might eat up a lot of their words. And that's why we don't need too much here. You could simply say your cooperation and feedback at this time is highly appreciated. If you say that, it automatically means that you want to hear what they have to say because you're asking for their feedback. So you don't need to be repetitive. Furthermore, an open line of communication from your side will nicely assist the team in the long term. This is our template, and see how the student nicely incorporated this natural element to fit the template within the context of the question. So, nice job done. Overall, this was the strongest answer among the three, but still, this will score not 9, not 10, but an 8 because of the mistakes I mentioned previously. And again, it's all about organization, word placement, but the student picked up on a lot of good things. The student is very ahead in his or her game, but needs to have those final fixes and more feedback to get to where you need to be. So, the key to improving your CELPIP marks, writing, speaking, reading, listening, is of course subscribing, following our videos, checking out our content, but also keep getting feedback, because one feedback is never enough for anyone, no matter who you are. You need multiple feedback and you will notice slowly building yourself, just like going from this level to this, then something like this, and even better. Guys, I hope this video helped you in understanding how you are supposed to attempt CELPIP writing. I'll see you next time. Take care.